our podcast channel here in recent months, we've been talking about various incidents in NHL and minor pro history that caused major injuries or changed the way people looked at hockey because of the severity of it. Well, I'd like to thank everybody. My Wayne Mackey podcast with the Ted Green incident has been trending heavily over the last few months for obvious reasons with the Wilson case. It's reminding a lot of people what happened between them. But this has kind of been a forgotten tragedy in sports history for pro hockey because at the time it happened, this guy was a long-time NHLer who just happened to be in the minors for a game, and he was severely injured that eventually led to his untimely and unnecessary death just a few years later. So today we're going to be talking about the very talented and the tragic case of Ed Kea. Now, Ed Joseph Kea was born in Weesp, Netherlands, January 19th, 1948. He eventually found his way to the NHL with the Flames and the Blues from 74 to 83. A very, very good, honest defenseman, 6'3", 190, a lot of movement, good on the defensive side, and showed some offensive prowess as well. Now, he moved to Collingwood, Ontario at an early age, and this is where he got his love for hockey. He first came to major prominence in the OHA C League, the Collingwood Legionnaires in 68, and the Collingwood Kings of the OHA Senior League. Now, he played with Collingwood again in the OHA C League and the OHA Senior League in 69, and started a strong minor pro career with the Jersey Devils in 1970. Now, in 71, he played with the Seattle Totems and the Jersey Devils, and then from the WHL and EHL to, of all teams, the St. Petersburg Suns, one of the first Florida pro squads of all time. 72, put up 49 points in 62 regular season games and 4 points in the playoffs. Now, Omaha Knights came calling in the CHL. He became eventually a farm player for the Atlanta Flames. Called up to the Flames in 74, put up 2 assists in 3 games, but from then on he was a dominant force for the Flames over a number of seasons. Now, in 1975, his unofficial rookie campaign, he put up 10 points in 50 games, did play 21 games in Omaha, but 76, 77, and 78, he was again the major force on the back end for Atlanta. 27 points in 76, including 8 goals. 25 points in 77, including 4 goals in 72 games. And again, 26 points in 60 games in 78. Now, 79, he played quite a number of games with the big team, and then was put down to the Tulsa Oilers for more seasoning. Now, he moved on to St. Louis in 1980 and continued his consistent performance. He had 19 points in 1980, including 3 goals in 69 games, 21 points in 74 games in 81, including 3 goals, and 82, 16 points in 78 games, including 2 goals. Now, here his life completely changed. St. Louis had played him for 46 games in 83. He was getting a little bit older, but he had sent him down to the Blues Central Hockey League affiliate in Salt Lake City. Now, the Golden Eagles game, he was injured severely and was checked into the boards. He never wore a helmet, by the way. By 83, a lot of players had took on helmets, even though most of the 70s, LaPointe, Savard, Robinson were wearing helmets. By 1980 or 83, 84 or so, because of the more physicality of the NHL, defensemen were wearing helmets. But unfortunately, when he was checked in the boards, he fell to the ice, striking his head. Now, he went into a coma for 10 days, and a lot of people thought he wasn't going to survive. Now, he came out of it. He was left physically and mentally disabled and never played hockey again. Now, because he was playing in a minor league game, NHL benefits at the time that were there for catastrophic injuries did not apply to his case, and he and his family struggled financially for several years because he was unable to hold a job. Now, we're hearing reports of Kea struggling, of course, with the injury what do you call it? They call it now traumatic brain injury. Kea went from a very well-spoken, very gentle individual to having major issues again with his mental state and his physical state. Now, and the news came down, and a lot of people didn't expect this, but for people like me in the media, we knew something wasn't going to end well, because when an injury like this, when people get paralyzed, they might last 30, 40 years and die in their 50s. Unfortunately, September 1st, 99, Kea accidentally drowned at his family's summer home in Six Mile Lake, Ontario, at the young age of 51. Now, there was some speculation years later that Kea may have passed away by his own hand. I don't really want people to speculate, because the family knows what he went through. When you suffer from a major injury, when you're a sport participant for many years, yes, you will suffer from depression, but his personality, from what I heard, that people that loved and knew him, completely changed, because when you have a traumatic brain injury, the previous person is literally wiped out. It's like a person taking a stroke and can't speak, or takes a stroke and one side is paralyzed. They can't be the same. But every time I saw him play, I was impressed with his respect he had for the other players on the other teams. He seemed to know what he was doing. He was sort of like that positive fourth or fifth defenseman that was prominent in the NHL in the late 70s, early 80s. Now, dumb question. A lot of people might know this, and maybe some of the people listen to podcast channel. I don't know if he was up for the Bill Masterson Trophy at one point for gentlemanly hockey. Maybe I'm thinking wrong here, but maybe in St. Louis, because I look at that 1980 season, and he was for the amount of time he was playing and what he did, he was never a dirty player. But I think there was some question he was going to be nominated, especially when he went to St. Louis, because the media in St. Louis really enjoyed his play. Atlanta, all those seasons, Atlanta wasn't a big media area for hockey, unlike St. Louis. A lot of people know the TV and print reporters there, they really, really enjoyed him as an athlete. But his legacy lasts on almost a quarter of a century since his death, not only because he's talented player, not only because of what he gave to hockey on many levels. He's also the uncle of two big players in NHL history, Jeff Boogleboom and Joe Newendike. So the talent runs very deep in that family. But in 2021, every time I see a St. Louis Blues game, and I think of Ed Kea when Ed Kea would patrol that blue line, I really think the success of St. Louis, especially in the 81 and 82 season, in their short playoff runs, were starting to build towards like that mid-80s success. The owe it all to Ed, because again, handsome man, very personable. I've seen interviews with him with CBC TV, and I think he was multilingual as well. I know he spoke the Dutch language. I know that for sure, because there was a little report talking about him as one of the few NHL players that were born in the Netherlands that were at that level, like a tier 2 defenseman, where not a superstar, but a semi-star, as we call it. But playing for the Jersey Devils too, we made a lot of friends in the EHL, because Jersey at the time was, was a going concern, which eventually, of course, led to the New Jersey Devils name later on. And playing in Tulsa too, that's a great place for hockey, as a lot of people know. So that's the story of Ed Kea, and again, we really miss him in the media, because when we covered him, it was always something to see. You see Ed Kea sometimes talk with the players of the other team before the face-off, and it was like, there was a level of respect for Kea and vice versa. And, it just, if you wouldn't wear a helmet, woulda, shoulda, coulda. I mean, you never know what's going to happen on the ice. Look what happened to Bill Masterson. The same injury killed him, almost killed Ed, so, pretty weird. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what we're doing here, give us a like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any memories of Ed Kea, be you from the Atlanta region, St. Louis, St. Petersburg, Tulsa, Salt Lake, let us know. I'd like to hear more stories of what I heard about him is true. A very, very, very dedicated individual. And, you know, as we like to say in North Shore, New Brunswick, tall drink of water that could play. And he's final NHL totals, just to recap, 583 games, 175 points, 30 goals, and 6 points in the playoffs, including 2 counters in 32 games. So, anyway, thanks for listening. Bye.